Once upon a time in a land called Oakland, California, pro sports teams fought for glory, winning the hearts of locals, filling stadiums, earning championship parades, and filling the city with pride. But now Oakland is looking at a future devoid of all that. It appears as though the Athletics will become the third professional sports team in 5 years to get out of Dodge, heading for Las Vegas just as their NFL counterparts, the Raiders, did in 2020. And, of course, the Golden State Warriors crossed the bay for San Francisco in 2019. How did a city once home to teams in the NHL, NBA, MLB, and NFL experience a mass exodus unlike anything ever seen in pro sports? Sit back, relax, and take this in. Believe it or not, there was once a time when the city was one of the most popular sports markets in the United States. Let's dial it back to 1971 when the Warriors first arrived on the scene. Then, Oakland was just one of 7 American cities with teams in all 4 major sports. And for the most part, their teams were actually pretty good. The A's won the World Series in 3 straight seasons from 1972 to 1974. In 1975, the Warriors bolstered the city's reputation by earning an NBA title. Then the Raiders followed that up with a Super Bowl win following the 1976 season. The only team that couldn't swing a championship was Oakland's NHL franchise, the Seals. The Seals are a curious piece of Oakland history, and as luck would have it, the first team to leave and never look back. The Bay's original NHL team, the California Golden Seals, called Oakland home from 1967 to 1976. They were primarily known for having a rotating door of owners and wearing white skates. Unable to draw dedicated crowds, they departed for Cleveland, eventually merging with the Minnesota North Stars, who later became the Dallas Stars. But while the Seals might be just a footnote in the city's history, Oakland's NFL, NBA, and MLB teams had a longer tenure. Let's start with the Golden State Warriors, who in 2019 relocated to San Francisco from Oracle Arena, their home of 47 years. That move took place in the midst of their dynasty years, that historically dominant run of 4 titles in 8 seasons and 5 consecutive finals appearances from 2015 to 2019. The Warriors had an origin story deeply tied to the local community, and for some Oakland-based Warriors fans, that move was like watching the love of your life get a glow-up and then opt for the prettier, richer version of you. Though the Bay Area has some of the nation's wealthiest communities, Oakland has the Bay Area's largest share of its 10 poorest neighborhoods. Fans were in for more heartbreak, though. Next up, the Raiders bounced. Oakland had a fraught relationship with the Raiders, who briefly experimented with life in Los Angeles in 1982 before returning to Oakland in 1995. But owner Al Davis and then his son Mark Davis were never shy to threaten relocating the team if necessity called for it. The Raiders had long shared a stadium with the Oakland A's. Oakland Coliseum was, and still is, a decaying past its prime monstrosity whose dugouts regularly flood with sewage. It never really had the right sightlines for football fans. As NFL stadiums across the league grew more luxurious, it was clear the Raiders needed a more suitable home. But Oakland politicians were always hesitant about supporting that quest. Like a diplomatic parent, their explanation was that helping the Raiders meant they'd have to help the A's too, and there just wasn't enough money for both. When the NFL blocked a proposed Raiders move to Los Angeles in 2016, it seemed the Raiders might have more time to work out a solution with the city. But when Oakland balked at committing taxpayer money for a new stadium, Las Vegas dug into the public purse to come up with $750 million, and the Raiders were off and away. Now it's the A's turn to bid farewell. Oakland Coliseum has continued to fall into disrepair on its way to being reclaimed by nature, with reports of a possum permanently taking up residence in the press box. After about 20 years of flirting with relocation, ownership recently announced the signing of a purchase agreement for a 49-acre casino-owned plot of land off the Las Vegas Strip. The move wasn't for lack of trying. The A's had previously proposed a new $12 billion development, including a $1 billion baseball stadium along Oakland's waterfront. But the project could never get off the ground, and in 2021, MLB finally consented to the A's request to start shopping elsewhere. Plans for their Vegas ballpark are said to include 30,000 seats and a retractable roof to the tune of $1.5 billion. The facility is slated to open in 2027. While Oakland teams were once first in the standings, the city is now first in a different way. The first American city to lose all 4 big sports in the modern era. They have still managed to hold on to their USL soccer franchise, however. The Roots are currently seeking a 10-year lease on a new site for their women's USL affiliate, the Oakland Soul. Pro sports teams can represent so much about a city, giving it a nationwide identity and uniting a fan base. But for sports fans in Oakland, all of that will soon be nothing more than a memory.